Sometimes I like to just sit and marvel at trees. I love trees, man. Love trees. Trees are like a silent witness to our lives. But more than that, they're living, breathing beings. They're like ancient intelligence, and they communicate, they nurture, and they guide. You have to know this about trees. And modern science confirms what many have already known, have wrote about, have always felt that trees speak to us. They literally speak through their roots. They share nutrients with their young. You can learn a lot from trees. My father is a preacher, and he had one of his most famous sermons is about the trees, right? Anyway, trees can teach us so many lessons. Um, Trees also support older trees. They connect across for sometimes miles through across groves through the hidden like a hidden web of it's called mycelium. Okay, do your research on trees. They also speak through the air. They send literal chemical messages, sense signals to one another. So they're not trees are not just alive; they're aware. We know plants are alive in a sense, but trees are beings. They are aware, and it's not just limited to forest or groves. Um, Trees, they can guide us. They can literally teach us, and get around them. It's actually proven to regulate your nervous system. If you're first, if you first have that belief, if you're first receptive to that belief, to that understanding, you got to know this about trees. So I just felt compelled to talk about trees, and I know this personally because during one particular difficult period in my life, I was confronting my shadow, so to speak, and there was a one tree, one big cedar tree. My pops, he knows a lot about trees, so he told me there's a cedar tree, right? And I was sitting underneath it, and I kind of adopted the tree figuratively, metaphorically, spiritually, as my mother, grandmother, like a mother figure, right? To help me feel grounded, steady, safe at this time. And over time, I would sit under this tree for sometimes a few hours, fall asleep under this tree whenever I had the time. And, I really felt this tree's essence. Um, and then the essence of her grove. And they embraced me. And um, I've got some great messages from higher source that was very a lot of confirmation that I needed. And even these old oaks and cedars and mesquites and along the rivers and city streets, they can teach us lessons about strength, purpose, endurance. Like I talked about their commitment to helping one another, their commitment to community. Um, you know, Sturdiness, peace in the midst of. We think of a lot of times we think of trees as mothers. At least I have, but there's a masculine quality to them. Their sturdiness um, and wisdom, right? Trees have a language. They offer insight, support, and guidance. Again, like I said, if you're willing to listen, this is real. I want you to try this. I want you to don't just talk. I want to just say things um, haphazardly. Um, when you set your intention, okay, and approach these awesome creatures or beings of nature, approach them with reverence, the reverence and respect that they deserve. Just no different than when you would honor your grandparents, great grandparents, your elders. Trees have that same knowledge, that reverence, and they respond. Um, they mirror the intelligence of nature and the rhythm of life itself. So, why would we not want to tap into that? They remind us to slow down, to connect, and to honor not only the world around us, but that divinity within ourselves that I always like to emphasize. So, man, look at these trees. People don't really pay attention to trees, man. Trees along here is beautiful. Look at these trees. So, next time you walk among the trees, I want you to really like connect with them, man. Look at them, touch their bark, sit at their roots, right? Simply breathe in their presence. Today, today already has been some monkey business. So I need to breathe. I need to come down here and breathe. Because remember, these beings are alive in ways deeper than we often realize. So, in a nutshell, the keys: set your intention, ask your questions, and they will answer. Not so much in words. You may hear something seemingly audible, but it's wisdom, it's signs, it's confirmation, it's subtle, and then it's transformative energy. So, trees are alive and they talk to you, but you gotta be ready to listen. Talk to the trees.